Hi, I want to show you the Chelsea chop today, and but before we do that I want to mention a couple of plants in the garden that are coming up that are really nice. This rose in particular is Lady of Shalott. It's a shrub rose. This one's just over 2 years old. Well, it's been in the ground 2 years and it's tripled in size since I bought it. Beautiful scent on it. And what I've also done, just for a bit of fun, I've grown one of the main stems through this standard holly tree. So as you can see, there'll be roses coming up in between because the holly bush is quite open growing, so it'll look quite spectacular. It's right over here. Don't know if you've noticed, but in this rose here, if you can see this froth that's on the leaf, it's called Cuckoo spit, and it looks like somebody spat on it, but it isn't. And if you brush it away, I can't see the one there, but there's you'll see it's the last couple of years or so it's become very prevalent, and there's thousands of it now about, and it's like a little aphid that produces this cuckoo spit for protection so that the birds can't eat it. But it just looks like somebody's spit on your bush, and you'll find it's on all sorts of plants at the moment, so keep an eye open for that. Very difficult to spray because of the cuckoo spit that surrounds it. Very difficult to get the chemical in there, so I usually tend to move it away and then just squash the particular little insect. The Chelsea chop, basically it started off with sedums, but we use it now on lots of things, and I'll show you some other things that I've given. Yesterday I did some, but this particular sedum, as sedums get older and bigger, you'll find as they get quite tall they'll splay out and you'll end up with a huge hole in the middle. Because of the weight of the flowers, they'll just droop down and you end up with this big hole in the middle. So somebody ingeniously came up with, they call it the Chelsea chop because you do it around about the time that the Chelsea flower shows on. And what you want to do is remove about a third of the growth. And what this does, this will thicken up the stems. They'll have a lot more strength in them, so that when they do flower, it will make them flower later than at the moment, but it will keep the stems sturdy so that when it does flower you'll have this very compact looking bush. And this is all you do, just take about a third off. They've not grown quite so much, this particular one, but I'm doing it just to demonstrate to you what you should do. Keep a nice shape, keep it nice and round, always cut back to a joint or a node, as we professionals call it. If you wanted, you could try and use these as cuttings, take the leaves off, pot them up if you wanted to try and increase your particular stock, but they're so easy to divide that it's not really worth doing cuttings, and there's only so many sedums that you can have. So that's basically it. There's a different variety there that's growing, but that one has this much deeper copper foliage, which is quite nice, coppery foliage. So we'll leave that, and then that'll just grow and flower later, and it'll probably get to about this sort of height, so it also keeps it nice and controlled. Something I haven't tried is this leucanthemum, but these get quite tall, so you could at a slightly later date chop them back as well, or it's worth trying. What you want to do is experiment, just do a couple and see how they get on. Something that you can really do is phlox at the back there, and I'll show you in a minute. One I've cut back yesterday, which is over in the back bed, but the phlox is there. You can see how tall they are. They don't really get too tall that they flop about, so whether or not you want to delay the flowering, which it does, is one thing. Another rose which is really nice is this Blue Bayou. Scent's not quite as strong as the Lady of Shalott, but it is lovely. This will flower at least twice, as long as you take off all the shoots, all the flowers, cut them right back down when they're finished flowering, and these will give you a magnificent display at least twice, sometimes even 3 times a year, but definitely twice. Another plant that I want to show you, which is quite unusual, is this Mellitus. Now I'm going to refer to a book because I can never remember the species name. It's Mellitus, that's M-E-L-I-T-T-I-S, Melisophyllum, and it's a woodland plant, and this is it here. It has flowers that look like orchids. I think it belongs to the nettle family, but it's lovely, and it does very well in shade. As I say, it's a woodland plant. You'll find it growing in woodlands, so it would do for a semi-shady border or something like that. And you don't see much of it nowadays. I hadn't seen this at all, but I spotted it in a garden centre about 2 years ago, and thought that looks really nice, so I tried it out, and it's done very well. It's not in the shade here, but it seems to grow all right anyway. And as soon as that's finished flowering, I'll cut it right back down to the ground. I'll just show you some of the phlox that I've cut back over in this far border. This is the phlox here, and it was up here, and I've cut it down. So it will flower a little bit later in the year, but at least it keeps it under control, and it means that you can see the other plants as they're coming up. There was a correction to the name of a plant I gave you the other day. I called it Amelianthus. That's because I use my granddaughter's name, which is Amelia, and the actual name is Melianthus, not Amelianthus. So that's the one over in the corner here. That's I love the foliage. It's very architectural. This particular one here. So this is Melianthus major. Not, as I said the other day, Amelianthus. And that's it for today. Show you some other tips another time. Okay, take care. Bye.